Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing a photography collection that was really fun for me to read. This is David Skernick's Backroads of the Midwest with a list of the states beneath it: Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. So as mentioned, this is a photography collection and it is mostly photography with only minimal text at the beginning. So this is just a book that you can flip through and enjoy. The author starts with a little introduction, and this is not the first Backroads book that he has done. He has done these for other states as well, although he is a native of the Midwest, coming from Ohio originally. He talks about how his definition of backroads is what he calls these gray roads. And if you look at a road map, map, the kind of map you'd keep in your car of Michigan or, well, any of these states, of any US state, you can see the roads that are gray are like these not main route roads. They're the kind of roads that can get you somewhere, but you really are only going down there if you have a purpose. So this book focuses on taking photography that occurred on what he calls these gray roads, that occur on these maps that go down these roads that aren't usually part of a normal motorist's route. And he talks about how many miles he drives each year, and I get the sense that he is quite literally just driving around these states, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and just trying to find interesting scenes, and he finds a lot. I quickly started, when I was reading this book, writing down photographs that would be interesting, because I like sharing those interesting photographs with you when I do these book reviews, but the list is quite long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started showing you. I really had to start becoming very judicious because I felt like I was going to just show you guys every single photograph in this book if I didn't start paring down. This is the kind of book that is super cool, and you want to look through time and time again. He does photograph some things that involve people, like not portrait photography, but inside towns or bars that are interesting. I, however, tended to gravitate more towards these rural scenes. So things that photograph nature, like this one. I love the green algae in this one. Make sure it's in frame. Or barns or rural back roads, as opposed to scenes that involve people. But that's just my personal preference. Here's a scene, 40 and 41, that I can talk about. So this is a very Iowa looking scene, and one of the things the author talks about is that every state has its own distinct feel, and he can be plopped in like a back road somewhere and he kind of immediately knows where he is, because each state really does have its own distinct feel. And having taken a lot of road trips around the US, I find that too. Different states and different regions of states even have very distinct feels that are kind of hard to put into words, but when you look at this, it feels small town Iowa. Here's another one, 44 and 45, that just feels small town. He does have the location and some information at the bottom of each of these pages, so if you want to know exactly where a photograph was taken, he does provide that information. Also, in the very back of the book, he provides all the technical information about the camera settings he used for each of these photos, if you're interested in that. I, however, am not a photographer, so I do not look too carefully at that. I love a good train photo. I actually have heard that in some states it's illegal to photograph trains. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if that's like a security risk thing, but hopefully it was not illegal in, well, he doesn't say where he photographed it, so maybe it was illegal where he photographed it, but it's a BNSF train. So I guess look up the rules before you photograph. Or maybe my information is incorrect and you can provide a updated law in the section below. This is another one that you can just tell this feels like Lake Superior. It is Lake Superior. It is particularly in Minnesota, but I can just tell the Lake Superior feel is very distinct in this one. That northern US feel. Some of the photographs are, you can almost feel them if it's in a region you're familiar with. This is an example of one I can feel and hear this photograph in a very, very, very distinct way. Although I've never been to Reeks Lake, Wisconsin, I have been to places similar to this. So I can feel and hear this photograph. And I feel like that's a mark of a good photographer, when you can feel and hear the photograph in question. And as you can tell by the ones I'm selecting, I really do prefer the rural scenes, the back roads, and that is mostly what he photographs, but this is one I really like. And as you can also see, I'm showing you quite a number of these photographs because they're all just fantastic. This is the kind of book I want to own. Here's Lake Huron. I love the Great Lakes. Here's a fantastic shot of Lake Huron. I feel like Lake Huron kind of gets a bad reputation. I don't know why, but it's quite beautiful. Here's some more fantastic photography. As you can tell, I kind of like the falling down barns look. Not sure what attracts me to those, but I love it. Also love a good fall photograph. I could never see myself living in a place that doesn't have seasons. I love my seasons too much. I like the fact that as soon as you're getting sick of the season, another one's coming if you live in a place with seasons, so. Here's another fantastic fall photograph. I want to say photography when I mean photograph. And the final one on page 132. This one actually feels to me very New England. I know I said every state has its feel, but this one looks like a place I found in this middle of the back road area. I was turning around in the state of Connecticut. And so this to me actually feels very New England, even though it was photographed in Indiana, on Indiana State Highway 46. So this book was really fun for me to look through. I had a fantastic time reading it, and I think you may as well, whether or not you're from the Midwest. And if you are from another place in the United States, he does other back road places. So maybe check out this series and see if he's done a back road section from the area of the world where you live from. I'm a Midwest girl, so I grew up in the Midwest. I live in the Midwest. So this was what attracted me to this book. But he does really great photography, and I would definitely check out the other Backroad books in his series because I've discovered that I like what David Skernick has put out. So if you've read this book or have any thoughts or comments on it, please check it out. Also, if you liked this book, you may enjoy a photography collection I read by, I believe it was Martha Moore on Indiana Barns that will be linked at the end of this video. That was another fun photography group just focusing on barns located in the state of Indiana. I loved it. I had a great time with that. And if you enjoyed this book, you may enjoy my review of that book. So go check that one out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of